Hey neighbor. I just recently discovered reaction videos and been really enjoying watching them. Watching people from all walks of life, all over the world, reacting to things that have always spoken to my heart, you know? It's so fun. It's kind of like I'm getting to share something with them, even though I didn't introduce them to it, but I get to watch them discover something that has spoken to my soul. And it's just been lovely. But there's something that I wanted to address, because there's a wonderful trend of people reacting to Mr. Rogers and discovering who he is. Since his show, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, it ran for 30 years, but it was limited to the United States and I believe Canada, if for at least some of the time, if not all of the time. But I know his show was funded through public broadcasting, so it was a national public television show. So it didn't go to other countries. So all these people are starting to find out about him, and their reactions are so beautiful. And I want to tell them, I want to tell all of you, you're feeling things as you watch those videos, because Mr. Rogers genuinely loved everyone. Everyone. And you can see that. You can feel that when you hear him speak, when you observe him interact with people, and the eye contact he gives, and the just genuine love and respect for the dignity of humanity is unparalleled since, I believe, Jesus. I have not seen anybody or heard of anybody else that has lived out the principle, the core principle of love your neighbor as yourself, as much as I have seen that from Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers. His passing in, I think it was 99, was a huge, it just left such a huge gap in our society of such a loving, trustworthy voice. Someone that we all looked to for advice, and an example of kindness and, and vulnerability. He was vulnerable. He failed in front, like in his show, he did cuts of scenes where he would fail at doing something that he was trying to do. And many times he said, let's leave that in. The crew wanted to cut that scene and redo it. And he's like, no, let's leave it in, because children need to see that, adults fail. Like, we can plan something out and it can just not go as planned, and that's okay. They need to see that without it being explained. He understood that. He was very fastidious about the information that he took in and the way that he communicated with everyone. Many people know he was an ordained minister, Presbyterian, I believe. But that was very early in his career. And if you listen to other interviews, his wife, many of his colleagues all talk about how open he was to all religions and understanding consciousness and understanding just the beauty of God's love. And there's I think he was very open, and very, very wise and so gentle. And there is something that he has said, and you can find it in a couple of clips and a couple of interviews, that it's just really been on my heart to address, because I believe with all my heart that if Mr. Rogers were still alive today, he would be absolutely supportive and a champion for our LGBTQ plus neighbors, for his neighbors, because he loved everyone. And he was so clear about that. He made a stand on his show when there was a lot of segregation, and Black people were not allowed into pools. There was segregation there, and hotel owners were throwing chemicals into their pools just to get the Black people to leave. And I just want to pause and say I hope that description is okay. I've heard all kinds of different PC terms, and I hope all of my neighbors are okay with my description, because it comes from a loving place. Anyway, he has a very, very long history of just loving people for who they are, as they are. I feel like he would have led on that, and I think his voice would have been invaluable. I just want you to know the things that he said, things like, when you're born a girl, you stay a girl, and when you're born a boy, you stay a boy, or only girls can be the mommies, and only boys can be the daddies, things like that. I want to make a case for Mr. Rogers, because I really truly believe that if you understand the context of those statements, it will restore your faith in humanity, because I can't imagine what it would feel like to feel discarded and invalidated by Mr. Rogers. And many people have used his words as proof or as backup to the idea that there can't be more than one gender, or two genders. Honestly, who knows anymore? I think that there's an infinite set of possibilities, and it doesn't make a difference, because your existence doesn't negate my existence, and my existence doesn't negate your existence. And that's something that Fred Rogers not only fully understood, but lived out daily his entire life. So I just want to encourage you that if you are LGBTQ+, I hope I got all of those. If you're one of my neighbors in that camp, Fred Rogers would have loved you. He would have marveled at you. He would have wanted to know. He would have been curious when he started to hear and learn that, oh, there aren't just two options, and oh, maybe, okay. He would have grown with you. I know that in my bones because of the words that he said, and because we have so much on tape. There's so many things, so much proof there. So I want to encourage you, if that is something that you've heard and was hurtful for you, I want you to consider giving Mr. Rogers a pass on those statements, because they were made from love, and they were made from a more limited understanding of reality. Reality at that time was what he said. And I really, really, truly believe that his love for humanity would have made bigotry towards you impossible for him. He just didn't know. None of us did. This is something I had to learn and grow to understand and accept as a reality. And I am so incredibly grateful to all of you for your bravery and your willingness to let us see you for who you are. Because I think too many of us have been in hiding for too long. There's so many people in our society that still feel these things and don't talk about it. And it's so incredibly sad. And I know he would have felt that. He would have been heartbroken by that for you, because he loves you. So I just want to encourage you that if that means something to you, to pursue it, because I can't imagine that. I mean, to me, that would be like finding out that I was like the only group that Jesus didn't like. You know, like that just doesn't add up. So I just want you to reconsider and contemplate as he would encourage you to, because I think it does matter. He was a really, really important person in a lot of our lives growing up. And even if this repairs that for just one person, I'm so glad, because you deserve to feel loved. And if nobody else tells you, I want to remind you what he would say, is that he likes you just the way you are. And I do too. On the other side of this coin, if you're someone who has used his words to validate your own feelings around this issue, and you feel that his words were correct at that time, I want you to consider what he would do and what he would say now, knowing what we know now. And at the very least, I believe using those words nowadays is taking them out of context. And I don't believe he deserves that. We all have our own choices, but loving your neighbor, that's always been and will always be the most important thing. I love you, neighbor. And I hope this was helpful.